Mr. Brown, you're back, reconnected with the Browns. How happy does that make you feel?
Well, I'm very happy to be back in Cleveland on an official level. And Jimmy Haslam and his family are great people. And, you know, it's like being a Cleveland Browns forever. And no one can do anything about it, so here I am right back in Cleveland again.
Did it surprise you when they reached out to you?
No, because I have friends in Cleveland, and friends that will always be my friends that's with the organization. So it wasn't really a surprise. It was just a nice, respectful thing that happened. And, you know, my family and I felt very good about it.
Did the time with Mike Holmgren, did that leave a bitter taste in your mouth for a while?
Not really. See, people have their own problems. They don't have too much to do with me. So when I wrote Mike my letter, that was my statement for history. And I explained to him who I was, how I was, and et cetera, et cetera. But also wished him the best of luck in the world to bring great teams back to Cleveland. Evidently, didn't work.
Now, as your role as a special advisor, what exactly are you doing with the Browns and the young players?
Well, Trent Richardson is really a friend of mine. He's a leader, and I speak with him quite a bit, and we talk about the philosophy of running and how, as a leader, he can motivate his players and motivate his linemen. And when the president, Mr. Shiner, wants me to meet some people or whatever, I'm very happy to do that. When Jimmy comes in, I usually get with him. Dee is a wonderful wife that he has. She's very active, very smart human being. I think in the charity area, I'll be working with her. But overall, I sort of have a right to dip my nose into a lot of things. So I try to be low-key and not have too many strong opinions. But I really enjoy relating to the players and getting their respect.
Strong opinions, though, that was what you were known for.
Well, in America, I think one of the things you want to be known for is to have an opinion. You know, it's that kind of country. And you should try to be honest. And if you're truthful and honest, you're going to always have a problem. But in the end, it'll always work out. So you got to be able to stand the heat and hold your ground, and then the truth will come out eventually.
When you went out and criticized both Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan, did you expect kind of the backlash that you got?
Well, I don't know anything about the backlash, and the word criticize is not very, it isn't a good word to describe what I did. I pointed out some things that are very valuable for the advancement of people and for the advancement of the African-American culture and for the responsibility that we take on, because there were certain people before us that took on that responsibility that made it better for us to come into a league and be treated equally. So if our major stars are sleeping at the helm, they need to be reminded that there's some things that they're almost obligated to do because they are in that position to do it. And only certain people of power in that position will be able to do it. So if you look at Tiger and if you look at Michael, you'll see what I'm talking about, because they're still working it out.
When did you come to that realization yourself, and that you could be a spokesman for the black community, then you could be a social activist, that you actually had something to say to the community at large?
Well, there's an interesting thing about words. The words that you use, I wouldn't use. I'm not a spokesman for anyone, but that's not a criticism of you. When I realized that it was important to reach back and not to just go to sleep at the helm was when I was a recipient of some great people. My high school coach, Judge Kenny Malloy from Manhasset, all of those people that took an interest in me and reminded me how to carry myself, how to compete, and what success meant. I didn't have a father. I didn't have any other guidance, but they became my surrogate, and the results is historical. So it is a responsibility that we all have in our lives to try to reach back and advise someone or point things out to someone to give them the greatest opportunity to be successful. So that's how I look at it.
Where did you get the concept for American? And what was the driving force behind that?
Well, the amount of violence in our communities perpetrated by young people and the deterioration of our schools and our school systems. So the first thing was to stop the violence in any place possible. And then the second agenda was to be able to create a curriculum to teach an individual how to take responsibility for their own actions and how to utilize certain tools to become successful. So the lack of violence and the enhancement of education are two things I don't think anyone can argue with. So that's what American concentrates on. The I can is a substitute for I can't. Too many of us say what we can't do all the time, but basically it is what you can do, and there's a lot of things you can do if you look at it in a positive manner. And then American, when you look at the American part of it, America is the greatest country in the world, and it should live up to that. And no one should be ashamed of backing their country and even pointing out the things that are wrong with our country. So I'm proud of America, but I'm also an advocate for pointing out things that need to be changed. And so, therefore, American.
You've had really kind of a remarkable life. You've had, you were the football great that you were. You went on to Hollywood and acted in all those movies. And then you started this program that you just spoke about. What do you feel the proudest of those three different areas of your life?
Well, you know, it's interesting. That's a good question, because most questions are good that people ask, but the answer is always sort of strange. That comes from me. I don't concentrate on what I've done. And a great way into what I'm doing, I'm always working to be more effective, to involve more people, to enhance the things that have already been done, and it never ends. So there's it's not really a start and a beginning. It's going to be forever that we have to contribute back and work to make it a better country and to make it a better life for our young people. And so, you know, the reward dinner, I'm not looking forward to it, because that'll probably be my funeral. You know, and I put it that way to say that the work goes on, and it's never going to be a day where we'll sit back and say, well, everything is perfect now, we can all go to sleep. It's not going to work that way. So as long as I have the energy and the desire, I will be struggling to be effective in positive change, particularly in our country, but all over the world, you know. And that's not a thing of thinking that I have the audacity to say that I can be effective. We all can be effective in our own way, and sometimes just by the way we live our life. So it isn't that I'm special. I have special things that give notoriety to my name. But on the other hand, some of the greatest people I know that have helped news people become better people are unknowns from the standpoint of the notoriety of the name value.
I read a lot of interesting things when I did a little research on you. And did you really approach Muhammad Ali at one time and talk about going in the ring against him?
No, I didn't approach Muhammad Ali. I was given an offer by Bob Arum, who I formed a company with called Main Bout, to handle Muhammad Ali's, particularly his ancillary rights. And so Aaron came up with the concept that why don't you fight him? And, you know, I looked at Aaron as if to say, you got to be out of your mind. You shouldn't even talk that way because it's disrespectful of the champ. I'm not a boxer, not a fighter. But it was all in goodwill, you know, funny in a funny sense, and never anything serious. I had no boxing skills.
Did you have a friendship with Ali?
I had a very close friendship with Ali. Friends on a personal level and friends from the standpoint of our activism. When he refused to go into the service, I called some of the top black athletes in the country to meet with him in Cleveland and to discuss it and to find out if we believed that he was genuine, and if he was genuine, we would support him. And then when about a 5-hour meeting in Cleveland in my office, we realized he was serious, he was genuine, and we came out as a united body and said that we support his particular position on the issue, and we will do everything that we could to make sure that he got his fair rights.
Through your whole life, you've never seemed to be concerned about ruffling any feathers. Is that just part of your philosophy or part of your personality?
Well, you know, things don't start with those who create an unequal playing field. Things start with those who create an equal playing field. So my feathers have been ruffled by those people who do not believe in freedom, equality, and justice for all people. And if I am relegated to being a second-class citizen, I will resist that until I die. I'm not a second-class citizen. I'm a tax-paying American citizen that meets my responsibility to the government, and therefore the Constitution states that the government should meet its responsibilities to me. So when I say that I want my rights, and every human being should have their rights, I'm speaking for everybody, not just black folks or whatever, but everybody. And I should speak, and I have the right to speak because I'm an American citizen in good standing. And that's the way I look at it.
Just about a week ago was the anniversary of Dr. King's famous I Have a Dream speech. And if he was alive today, do you think he would look at the past 50 years of a lot of progress for the black community, or do you think that in some respects he'd be dismayed?
Well, you know, I could opt out of this very easily. It would be the easy thing to do. But let me say that before Dr. King was assassinated, he was starting to struggle with what his philosophy was and how it should be. And that was good, because we were not living the day of Gandhi, and nonviolence is not a philosophy. I'll debate anybody on that. And turning the other cheek is not a philosophy that I believe in. And marching, singing, kneeling, and praying is not what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to send my kids out to be jumped on by police dogs and knocked down by water hoses. So all of those things that Dr. King was talking about were good if you're a Christian of a type, or if you follow the philosophy of Gandhi. But the young people that I knew, the philosophy did not fit. So the philosophy had almost become an old folks philosophy, and the young people were looking more towards the Panthers, Malcolm X, et cetera, et cetera. In my lifetime at that time, was an advocate of economic development and to building our own communities and making our communities the cleanest and safest, and business-wise the most productive. So I was looking at what advances a group of people in America, and economic development and education seem to be the things that would benefit us most to practice, and would be the things that we could control. So that's how I looked at it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.